Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Barnon11970. I thought I'd make one last video before I start my weekend, and this is actually something that my sister posted on her Facebook, and I found it quite intriguing, so I thought I would read this. Obviously, there's no link. I don't know where she got it from, and I'm not about to give out my sister's Facebook page, so just take my word for it that what I'm reading is accurate. All right. An economics professor at a local college made a statement that he had never failed a single student before, but had recently failed an entire class. That class had insisted that Obama's socialism worked and that no one would be poor and no one would be rich, a great equalizer. The professor then said, "Okay, we'll have an experiment in this class on Obama's plan. All grades will be averaged, and everyone will receive the same grade, so no one will fail, and no one will receive an A. Basically substituting grades for dollars, something that's closer to home and more really understood by all. So after the first test, the grades were averaged and everyone got a B. The students who studied hard were upset, and the students who studied little were happy. As the second test rolled around, the students who studied little had studied even less, and the ones who studied hard decided they wanted a free ride too, so they studied little. The second test average was a D. Nobody was happy. Then when the third test rolled around, the average was an F. As the tests proceeded, the scores never increased, as bickering, blame, and name-calling all resulted in hard feelings, and no one would study for the benefit of anyone else. To their great surprise, all failed, and the professor told them that socialism would also ultimately fail because when the reward is great, the effort to succeed is great. But when the government takes all the reward away, no one will try or would want to succeed. It could not be any simpler than that. There are a possibility at least 5 sentences you'll ever read, and all applicable to this statement. 1. You cannot legislate the poor into prosperity by legislating the wealthy out of prosperity. 2. What one person receives without working for, another person must work for without receiving. 3. The government cannot give to anybody anything that the government does not first take from somebody else. 4. You cannot multiply wealth by dividing it. 5. When half of the people get the idea that they do not have to work because the other half is going to take care of them, and when the other half gets the idea that it's no good to work because somebody else is going to get what they work for, that is the beginning of the end of any nation. I really think that puts this country and God knows how many other countries, nations, in proper perspective. This shows that there's a demise coming, and you could see more and more people are going into the welfare system because, like this thing says, if you're going to get a free ride, you might as well not do anything. Some people just don't want to work because why work when you can get a free ride from welfare systems? Now, that doesn't mean there aren't people who deserve it. I mean, there are people who, single mother with 2 or 3 kids, or even just one kid living on their own, or somebody who's handicapped, or somebody elderly. So those people need to be provided for. But considering I have family that work in these systems, that they're actually the people that work for the welfare offices that give out this stuff, they see it all the time where there are people that could easily work, but they actually make more money sitting at home doing nothing. And then you have the wealthier people, now obviously not the top 1%, but the people that make over $250,000 a year. Well, they're sitting there saying, well, why should I work so hard when most of the money that I'm going to make is just going to go to someone else? So if you see how the government's running, it's the ultimate destruction of our people. And look what's happening. We all fight, we all argue, we all point fingers, we all blame one another, and then nothing gets done. That's one of the reasons why I've tried to preach unity on even this channel, and we can't even achieve that sometimes. But I want people to understand, if you put it in that perspective, it does really make it seem, more logical. So the American dream, was once said by a famous comedian, the American dream, you have to be asleep to achieve it. So, I mean, that's not a direct quote, obviously, but it just goes to show that, this system is failing. And it's just a matter of time. And I'm sure there are other places around the world where the same things are happening. We're not getting better. Things are not getting better. Products are not getting, cheaper or better. So, where are we headed? If you think we're headed somewhere good, I wish I lived in your part of the woods, because it's definitely not mine, and it's definitely not most of the people's. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend.